The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, The Green Law Firm, personal injury attorney, Kaylin Parker of Magnolia Wealth Strategies, Moe's Pizza, Lance's AC and Heating, CC's Children Blocks, The Pierre Family in Lafayette, Louisiana, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
And welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, the sports guy. Hash It Out Show is in full effect, fully loaded, as you can see on your TV screen, on your computer screen, on your phone screen, or your iPad screen, whatever you got us on. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. Randall Mackey is supposed to be joining us live. He's supposed to join us live tonight. He had a little bit of issue last week, so tonight we're supposed to have Randall Mackey. I got the one and only VK Jones, and down below, you see the one and only, and y'all been texting me and asking me, where GP at? Where GP at? There's George Peppers, and I'm going to give George Peppers the floor before we begin. Go ahead, George Peppers.
All right. Well, first, I apologize for missing the last 2 weeks, but I've been grieving the loss of a coworker and a very dear friend of mine. I don't know if you've watched the news, but there was a shooting on Morrison Road a couple of Saturdays ago, early Sunday morning, 2 weeks ago. Well, that shooting claimed the life of one of our deputies, Deputy Ashley Aples, who we had a funeral for this past Saturday, and I've been grieving the loss since. It was a very hard loss. Obviously, it was 43, leaves behind 3 kids. And it was a very tough loss. They do have a suspect in custody, 20-year-old, which I don't want to get into the details of that. I just want to address me, me missing the show. And that's why I just, was grieving. And this loss was very, very tough. And we had his funeral Saturday. And I got to say, JP showed out. The sheriff's office showed out. Employees showed out. It was on Crowder Boulevard in New Orleans East. The cremation building, New Orleans Funeral and Cremation on Crowder. That facility carries, it looks like, a capacity of about 100, 150. I could say it doubled that on Saturday. That's how beloved this man was. And rest in peace, Deputy Aples. And he always used to call me Super Pep at work. That was his pet name for me. So I'm going to miss him dearly. He's a brother to me, but, that's law enforcement. That's what we are. And I'm just glad to be back. And now the time to heal started Saturday. And this helps big time being up. Thank you guys. I see the chat. But now the time to heal starts now. And being with you guys is going to be very therapeutic. And we hope to have Randall Mackey tonight. And with that, VK, I'm going to turn it to you.
Hey, man, what's going on, everybody? Like, tag, share, subscribe to the Hash It Out Show. Also, social media platforms. We're on all social media platforms live on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your Twitter, and even on your YouTube, man. So continue to support us. We'll continue to thrive. This is Legends Month, and we're going to be honored to have Mr. Mackey with us tonight. And this, so far has been so good with this Legends Month that we got a lot more to go.
Whole lot more to go. Hey, Drew, how you doing, man? Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Drew says sorry for your loss. Coach Fig, the head coach at Carver, George, on Instagram, he also said he's sorry for your loss.
Well, I appreciate the greetings and condolences. It's very much appreciated. But like I said, I'm back tonight. This is therapy. This helps get the sports talking. I saw in the chat before we started, right before you hit the live button under the lights, and I know it's Jordan. 58 days. He's right. 58 days to football season, but it's also 58 days to the man to your next to your left. He's gonna be third place again this year in the picks. BK. I had to. I had to.
I'm,
Wait a
I'm
second.
I ain't saying nothing.
Go ahead.
All I'm gonna tell you, if I win week 1, oh yeah, there gonna be some changing around here.
Week 1.
If I win,
You
Nobody
boy.
cares. You win a week. Come on,
the,
man.
the
It's the
go,
whole thing.
I do. I do.
it's what. Wait, listen. It's 1 week at a time, baby, and that's how I'm taking it. 1 week at a time. We go
Okay.
1-0 each week, and
Okay.
it's gonna
Now
lead to winning it all.
Okay.
That's what it is.
it's also 58 days for something else. When movie can't put out an outlandish top 5 like he did the last 2 years. Hit one 2 years ago, done him last.
You know it's coming. You know it's going to happen.
Thank you, Jordan.
You know it's coming.
And
Oh,
when
we
George
know.
Peppers George Peppers is gonna have any wild comments for games.
Wait,
You
what?
Wild
Wild comment?
All
comments.
right,
We'll
y'all.
move
All
on from
right,
there.
y'all. Hey, all
All
right.
right,
We gonna keep.
Move
let's
on
get it
from
All
there.
back.
right,
Send
now
it
we
back.
moving forward.
We'll
Moving
move on
forward,
from there.
y'all too. Ryan, we do games on the whole state. We do whole state when we pick games.
Yeah,
The whole
we
state.
all over the place.
That's right. That's right. That's why I'm a back-to-back regular season champ and your defending playoff champion. Acknowledge me, everybody. All right, guys. Look, 13 minutes until Randall Mackey is supposed to join us. Well, I know we went through this last Tuesday, but I'm gonna go through it again for the next couple of minutes. Randall Mackey, in my opinion, doesn't get the love that some of the great quarterbacks in this state receives, like a Peyton Manning, Jawan Johnson from LCA, Ryan Perrilloux. Think about this, man. Randall Mackey won 3 straight state championships as the quarterback for Bastrop High School. That is not easy to do, people. He did it 3 times. And and he, as the starting quarterback for Bastrop, he never lost a game. He never lost. Peyton Manning never won a championship. Jawan
Never
Johnson,
got that.
he never got there, right? Jawan Johnson won 1 in his 4 years as a starter. Randall Mackey, 3 years as a starter for Bastrop, never lost a game. Never. And it's crazy that he doesn't get the recognition. I think he deserves the recognition to be mentioned with the greats. What do you think, George Peppers?
Huh. Well, is he the best pure passer we've ever seen? I don't
He had a
think
rocket
so.
for an arm. He had a rocket for an
He
arm.
did. He did. But Bastrop ran what kind of an offense? It was more of a not predominantly run, but they ran more than they threw. Um, and look, you can name names. Brock, I see Brock Berlin in the chat. Devin Stives putting him out there.
Yeah,
Um, look, you can't argue success. Three straight state titles at Bastrop. 2 of them against Shaw, and I forgot the other one was against
Bro Bridge.
Brobridge. Was it Brobridge?
He was Bro Bridge.
Okay,
That was their
Cinderella
first.
year. That's right.
That's when they
But
won it when it was in at the time when it was in Shreveport, and they bought it back down.
That's
I'll
correct.
give you another quarterback that in college was much maligned, but in high school was also undefeated and won 2 state championships that I would put in this argument. That's Jordan Jefferson, Destrehan. He didn't lose as a starter either at Destrehan.
I think he
Actually,
did.
Unblemished.
he won. He
I
won
think he
one.
did.
No, he won 2.
No, he
One.
won 1.
One.
2.
Jordan
I
won
thought it
1
was.
Winwick Smothers was the quarterback on the
the
second
Oh,
time
that's
following
right.
around.
year.
Yeah, the one
Yep,
when they picked 6 West Monroe late. Okay, that one.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Winrick Smothers. Okay, you're right. But and we talk about where Mackey is. Look, I'll put him up there. You have to.
yeah,
Success is success, and people. If we're going to measure success, VK, based on rings, then Mackey's got to be near any forefront of any list. You would think, but
We talking
it wasn't.
all state all 3 years, or all state his last 2 years.
Exactly,
MVP all
exactly.
state.
hmm I mean, he was a great player, a great player. With that being said, some people are going to say Ryan Perrilloux, best pure passer, maybe Josh Booty, Berlin, um, the Mannings, Peyton and Eli. But guess what? The Mannings never got to the dome. The furthest either or got was a quarterfinal. Never got out the quarterfinals. So if we're going to make that argument, I usually base it on talent and success. All three are immaculate talent and BK, but Randall Mackey, is he the best quarterback I've ever seen? He wasn't very tall, was he? If I remember correctly, he was what, 6 feet, six
He
one.
about my height, about 5'11",
Okay,
6 feet. Yeah.
yeah, he wasn't the prototypical look over the line quarterback. He used his feet a lot too, but he was a very good runner. But
Hey, he had Ruben Randall and D'Angelo Benton.
it helped. Those two guys are monsters, and especially Ruben Randall did his damage. Benton did his too, and ran into some trouble in college. But go ahead, VK. I mean, I would say Mackey's in the historical realms because 3 straight state titles, man. That's hard to argue. It really is.
Mackey at first was a running quarterback in the beginning,
And then
but
they,
after his freshman year at Port Sulphur, and he led Port Sulphur to a quarterfinal berth, the next year when he got the Bastrop, the passing game just went up
Everybody
from there.
remember he had to evacuate Port Sulphur because of
Exactly.
Hurricane Katrina.
So
Mhm.
it was him and 5 other players that left from Port Sulphur and went up there with Mackey to Bastrop. And Bastrop, now you look at him at Bastrop, the difference, we knew that his arm wasn't bad, but he could run, but the improvement of his throwing his sophomore year was ridiculous. Was freaking ridiculous. And it just showed he upped his game. And it's like, bruh, how you gonna stop a dude that can run and throw? So that's the fact of the matter is, and the thing about Mackey was scary about him, the accuracy. He was accurate. And I mean, man, it's like you can't say nothing. There's very few quarterbacks that has a height like him that can throw it and get it to where the spots need to be. And he did an unbelievable job of what he did quarterback spot. He had his opportunities in the college level, but for what he has done in the high school level has been amazing in itself. And I can say, we talked me and GB talked about it last week, how much of a blessing on both sides of the fence with Bastrop having, if he doesn't come back down, we wouldn't have a Rich Turner at when South Plaquemines open.
That's correct.
And he was something else too. You know what I'm saying? And you can say those were the two best almost ever, but I'm gonna say this: two of the best that maybe ever come out of that area, of that Clackamas Parish area. Two of the best since like the great players like a Chico Mackey, like a Chico Mackey, like all these other great Mackeys, and also Terrence Jones. I mean, some great players, Kenneth Gidros, some awesome players from that area, and those two maybe the best ever. And also, you got to put Lyle Feet up there. He might be the all time up there besides Brandon Mackey because of the fact that he's
Coach,
won
he wants a
2
coach.
titles and one as a coach. So there's a lot of history in that Plaquemines area, that South Plaquemines area in general. Amazing stuff because there've been a lot of great athletes that come not just the Post Off area, but that area around Beerus, Boothville, Phoenix, who even had a run at one time, long time ago, when Tyrone Hughes was the head coach. I mean,
That boy went to
bro,
the East Bank of Plaquemines Parish, Phoenix. He went to the East Bank.
that's the only time they actually had football. And
On the East
Tyrone
Bank?
Hughes, yeah, Tyrone Hughes took that program over, went to the playoffs the first couple, I think first couple of years, second year, they went to the state semifinals and came up short. So, man, but after that, Phoenix football was no more after he left. So, it's just the fact that it's great talent in that South Plaquemines area in general, but the whole Plaquemines too. You can't forget about Bell Chase. It's just amazing over these. You had to think long time ago that was a whole district
Yeah,
before
it
Phoenix came
was.
with football. I mean, they battled each other every
Yep.
year.
Nick, which water, the Gulf or the river? They both right there. They sit.
Mhm.
It sit in between both of them. Which one? The Gulf or the river? Which water?
One of the
Oh,
best fishing holes in the state of Louisiana. One of the
man.
best fishing holes
Mhm.
out
I tell you this, man. Randall Mackey and Bastrop defeated my alma mater twice, but you couldn't deny the greatness you saw in Randall Mackey. Period. The guy was just great, man. And I say here to this day, when I talk about 2007, who would win between that Destrehan team and that Bastrop team? And I'm telling y'all, I'm kind of leaning towards Bastrop. You know, Destrehan had Jordan Jefferson, Jericho Nelson, Tim Moulton, Demarius Johnson. They had those boys. Defensively, they had some studs too, but Bastrop did also, man. I just,
there. I
I
think it.
just don't know.
I
I'm leaning towards Bastrop. That was the best two teams in 2007. Period.
I I think it was a bit. I think it was a great game. Would be a great game between them two. I give a little bit of an edge to Destrehan because that defense was really lethal, and they were capable of making big plays anytime. So I give
But
Destrehan
they never saw
just
Randall Mackey and
not.
Ruben Randall in them. They never saw them.
I'm not saying they haven't, but I ain't gonna lie. Like Randall, they'll act a fool, but I ain't gonna
They
lie.
go Nick.
That
They go Nick.
Destrehan would give Randall a little bit of a time, but I wouldn't be surprised Randall will have a great game against them.
Darrington Cinnamore at defensive tackle for Destrehan.
That's what I'm saying. Because see, they got playmakers everywhere, both sides. I really think it will be a shootout, but I just give a little bit of an edge to Destrehan. But it'll be a great game if they ever battle.
GP, what you
I
got to
don't,
say before we
I,
get
I
Mackey
don't
in here?
know. I don't know if it's a shootout, but I kind of lean to VK on this side of the argument, but with caution, because when you don't lose, you just you just win every time. But Destrehan had some stars defensively. You just mentioned the defensive tackle and the other guys they had on that roster.
Let me
I
say this
remember
right
they
quick.
held
Let me say this
they
right
held
quick.
a
Hold on.
what's
Let me say
that?
it right quick. Randall Mackey is in the lobby. So in 2 minutes, we're gonna bring him in after commercial. So I just wanted to say that to just make sure he hears me
Fair enough.
that I see you in the lobby. So go ahead. George.
But anyway, if you remember, they held a was it West Monroe? They won that championship against with Jordan Jefferson, and that
No,
was a West
Acadiana.
I think that was
Acadiana.
Smothers in them.
Oh yeah, well I
Acadiana.
should know
Acadiana.
Acadiana
Yeah.
because they knocked
Acadiana.
out John Ehret in the semifinals that year at West Jeff. I was there. VK, you were too in that semifinal, and I was a skull dragging. But they held an Acadiana team that could score a lot of points with that veer, and they made them look like mincemeat. There was a 10-6. Was it 10-6? I think a 13-6 finish. 14-3. 14-3 because it was 7-3, and they got a pick six late
Actually, that
turnover.
was that was that was the West Monroe. That was the West Monroe ball game. The
Oh, okay.
Acadiana game. The final was, I think, it was 31 to 14. It was pretty tight for a second, and Destrehan just put it away in the fourth
Mm-hmm.
quarter. So I think it was like 31-14.
All right. Let's go to commercial break, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
mean, we're
And when we come back, one of the greatest to ever do it, 3-time state champion, the one and only Randall Mackey, right here on the Hash It Out Show. Are you in need of a new windshield? Leo Autoglass can help. For 20 years, Leo Autoglass have been servicing the New Orleans area with windshield replacement and auto glass repair. Give them a call today, 504-301-8353.
Hey y'all, this is Jen Hale from Fox Sports. You're watching the Hash It Out Show with JB the Sports Guy, VK Jones, and George Peppis.
Did you experience storm damage from Hurricane Francine? Barretto Home Solutions can help. You can give them a call at 504-940-7552.
Hi, I'm Erica Randolph, head coach of the Hahnville Tigers boys basketball team, and you are watching The Hash It Out Show.
And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy with VK Jones and George Peppers. Our next guest, like I said, 3-time state champion at Bastrop High School, went on to play at Ole Miss, and he was at a community college. We get into that a little later because he played against a big-time quarterback in the championship game. We get to that a little later, but our special guest, the one and only, Randall Mackey. Mr. Mackey, what's going on, brother?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
We doing good,
Good,
man.
good.
Happy that you could join us on Legends Month here. Let's get started, man. What was it that made you decide that you wanted to play football?
Me personally, it was my big brother. Just watching him play, and I just grew up playing. Young. You know what I'm saying? So young, so it was just brought up in me. But personally, him though, you know what I'm saying? Just watching him play, and I just wanted, you know what I'm saying, just to be like him.
And you talk about Joshua, right?
Yeah, Josh Mackey, my big brother.
There you go, Joshua Mackey, 2002 state championship game MVP. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Besides your brother, who else played a significant role in your life?
It was a couple people, Terrence Jones was another one.
Okay.
And I watched Ryan Parallew also at a young age. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Parallew was, one of the greatest ever, bro. Well, man, probably is the greatest ever in Louisiana, but, him and I got a little bit from Skylar Green too at a
Okay.
young age, just from watching them people.
Good. Greats, the greats. Tell us a little bit about your freshman year at Port Sulphur.
Oh, it was rough. Ooh, it was rough. But it was a learning experience though. But I started up in the 8th grade though. I
Okay.
started playing in the 8th grade, and I went on from there. I got my first action against Bell Chase up in the 4th quarter, and I was terrified, man. I'm talking about the smallest person on the field. I was like probably about 5'5", like a buck 40, buck 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And then it went from there. The first 2 quarterbacks, my cousin Darian, he had got hurt, and the other quarterback, he got hurt at practice. So it just came down to the little 8th grader. So that's how I made my name from there.
Yes, indeed. Let's go now to the sophomore season. You had Port Sulphur getting ready, and then Hurricane Katrina hits. You had to evacuate. Tell us about that time and how difficult it was evacuating from Port Sulphur and then finding your way to Bastrop.
Man, it was rough time for everybody, for sure. But man, I ain't knew nothing about Bastrop, really, to be honest. I want to say my first 2 teammates came here first, Jody Ankar and Jeremy Seal.
Mm-hmm.
They was here first. But me personally, I was about to go to Karen Crow, and then I got a little homesick from my mama.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't around her. So got back with my mama, and then we got a call from Coach Holmes. He was out here in Bastrop because he was down there with us, in Port Sulphur.
Right.
And then he came to Bastrop, so that's the only man that we knew at the time coaching. So we all came to Bastrop with him,
Definitely.
and that's how that came about.
Okay. What was it like playing for Coach Brad Bradshaw?
It was easy, because Crutchfield, because Crutchfield made it easy.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had Crutchfield, growing up. You know what I'm saying? So, he made that easy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Brad was mean, mean dude. I'm talking about didn't play no games, and Crutchfield was the same way. So, when I came up into him, it was just like, okay, it's just another Crutchfield.
Okay.
He just white. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that
Now,
was.
once you got there and started practicing, were you shocked that you were named the starting quarterback like right away?
Take, I didn't start for Bashop till like the 6th week, till like the
Okay.
6th, 7th week of the season. When I first got to Bashop, man, I ain't even want to play football, bro. Like I ain't even, I ain't even want to do it. It took me a while, you know what I'm saying, like to start practicing and everything. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because I ain't gonna be out there, I'm just being so young and everything, and I just didn't want to be there. I wanted to play at home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In Port Suffolk, but you know what I'm saying, that was never coming back. So you had to adjust.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it was rough for me at first, man. I ain't even want to play in basketball.
Now, you said you started week 6, and then
Yeah, week 6, week 6 or 7, something like that. It was
okay,
against Carroll Bulldog.
gotcha. And everything just took off. Everything took
Yeah,
off. Didn't lose, and y'all get to the state championship game and defeat Bro Bridge. How was that feeling of winning that state championship?
man, big. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't, like it was a good feeling, but it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Playing in
Yeah.
that dome different. So like, like it was good. You know what I'm saying? Because we won and all, and I wanted to win the state championship. You know what I'm saying? And all that, but you know what I'm
The
saying? I
dream
wanted
was
to play
always
up in that
to win it
dome
in the
though.
Superdome.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Make it to the dome, man. Walk
Yeah.
under them lights. You know what I'm saying? Get on that carpet and just, you know what I'm saying, suck it all in, bro. But the one in Shreveport though, you know what I'm saying. But that was special too. You know what I'm saying? Because that was Bachelor first one
Mm-hmm.
in a long time, like since 1928 or something like that. So in a long, long time, and that was big. You know what I'm saying, for the city of Bachelor too. You know what I'm saying? Because they kept getting put out. I want to say in the third round always. You know what I'm saying? And so much talent. You know what I'm saying? Like man, so much talent came from up here, but they just could never get over that hump. And then we finally did it in '05, and like man, I'm talking about the whole city of Bachelor was out there. So yeah, that was, you know what I'm saying, that was,
That's
that
awesome.
was
That's
good for them too.
awesome. Your brother Joshua says he taught you what you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he did. He did. No fear. Just, you know what I'm saying? Attack the
Definitely.
game. So practice hard, play hard. You know what I'm saying? You make it easy. So
There you go.
that's why I get that from him. He had no quit in him, man. Play offense, defense,
Straight
special
perseverance.
team. Like, man, he
Yeah.
never came off the field. So,
Now,
and that's what he drilled in me, man.
now that 2005 title got taken away by the LHSAA. And look, y'all won that on the field. I'm gonna always give y'all credit because y'all went on the field.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there you
Bro,
go.
Brid coach used to say that.
Now,
You know what I mean?
how
So,
driven were y'all for the next season to prove the doubters wrong about what happened and to go back out and get what was yours?
man, like that was the main goal for the next year. And I want to say that's why we put up, at least 40 points on, everybody. At least try to, but yeah, man, cause that
Yeah.
hurt it when they took that from us, bro. Cause we didn't get recruited up here to Bachelor, nothing like that, man. Like we just knew Coach Holmes,
Yeah.
cause he was down there with us. So you know what I'm saying. But when they took that from us, man, like that hurt it. So everybody came back the next year strong, man, and just ready to
And you
go.
had to take on the Archbishop Shaw
So
Eagles, and this game was played in the Superdome. That game you guys won 28-14. You, Ruben Randall, Daniel Benton, to name a few, man, winning your second straight championship in the Superdome. How sweet was that?
man, now that one was amazing, bro. Like I couldn't even believe it at first. And me personally, I wasn't expecting it, what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
to even win the MVP. I actually thought our running back should have got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jamal Casman should have got it. But but I'll take it though. You know what I'm saying? Like I be telling him all the time when I see him, I'll take it though. But I got to give my props to him too. So yeah, but that was nice too. You know what I'm saying? But that was the one, that we really wanted to win up in that dome. Just to show everybody, what I'm
Yeah,
saying, that we was the best team.
definitely. And then the three-peat was against Shaw again. And I always tell people like, Was there something a little extra you had against y'all in that game? Because man, you was killing that game, my brother. Running, throwing, whatever you had to do.
Yeah, cause Shaw was doing a little extra talking up in the papers, and like, come on, man, like how you gonna talk to somebody who ain't really lost in 2 years? So, what I'm saying, they kind of made it personal, I'm saying, on themselves. So, yeah, that's what that was. And then we seen a couple clippings, up in the paper that our coach showed us.
Yeah.
He like to book us up all the time and show us all type of stuff. So, and once he did that, man, like that was it, like, But they were talking, man, they were talking too much though. So I made it personal for
I
myself.
feel you. I feel you.
Almost like a Jordan game, almost. But even though they didn't probably tell me nothing.
Oh man. VK, I'm gonna pass it to you, man.
Hey, man, Randall, how are you, man? It's good to have you on the show and everything, man. And all I'm gonna tell you is this: you hold that name up very, very well. Talking to a lot of your past relatives and brothers and stuff like that, and holding down that Clackamas Parish, man. You know what I'm saying? It's great to have you on.
Oh yeah,
No
appreciate
problem,
it, man.
man. I wanted to ask you this more than anything else, and I really felt some type of way when the LHSA took away that title. I really thought it was really dead wrong for what they did, because of the fact of the matter is, you and your teammates that came for Pulse Sulphur still ain't had no home to go to, and for them, what they did was dead wrong more than anything. I said it to a lot of people. I'm like, Bastrop is coming, and they're coming for blood this year, because this is if for any team, and we've seen it before with teams in the past who's been wrong because of penalties, and they kind of punished y'all even in that year for not even playing a home game in the playoffs. But y'all made that statement in the semifinals, putting like 60 on the number, I think it's the number 3 or the number 2 seed. I mean,
Nah, they was actually
number
number
1
one seed.
seed.
Minden was number
Yeah,
one
you
that
had to
year.
go to Minden, and you put 60-something points on the board, and I'm like, whoever got them is trouble. That's what I thought about it.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like we were stacked too, man. Like a loaded team. Like, cause from that 2006, from that 2005 team, we didn't really we didn't lose too much, and like everybody came back. So, we was already stacked and loaded. So, what I'm saying, that made it
Oh
easy
yeah,
for us.
yeah, I tell you, man, you really just stay consistent more than anything else, especially your passing game and all that stuff. Let's talk a little bit about that winning the Superdome more than anything else. It wasn't just a big night for you, but it was an all-around great night for you and your teammates and everything. That South Plaquemines in their first year comes into the dome
Mm-hmm.
and wins the state championship. You see your former coach, and you see a good bit of your family come in, and they get it done. What was your thoughts overall on that night? That the fact that you got yourself a state trophy, but at the same time, your community comes together and wins the state title.
Yeah, because I was able to watch the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying, when we was in there. But man, I wanted to cry, man, because at the same time, I could have been out there with them if I went, if I would have came back home. But you know what I'm saying, man, and that was just the greatest, man. I don't know, bro. Like words can't even explain that, bro. Like that was just
And
big.
2 big legacies happened, that particular time. Your legacy at Bastrop, and also Rich Turner, his legacy. It's just something else that 2 players from that area just making an impact like that in 2 years, more than anything else in the Superdome. That to me is like, I've been in the media for almost 20 years now, Randall, and I think that was amazing in itself to see that.
Oh yeah, that's my little cousin too. Shout out to
Wow. Okay.
Red Turner.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's my little cousin. We actually, you know what I'm saying, like we actually grew up on the same street. So yeah,
Awesome,
that's my
man.
little cousin, man.
Yeah, we mentioned you, we mentioned Rich, we also mentioned Loud Feet as well. You know what I'm saying? I tell you,
Yeah,
man,
live.
it's something in that water, especially in that Clackamas Parish area in that south there.
Yeah, man. I don't know what it is neither. So it's like it just built up for football and track, man. I got to give it to us, bro. Football and track. They're gonna have something down there for either one of them.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a little bit about the college days more than anything else. You had an opportunity to play junior college football at East Mississippi, the beginning times of Last
Correct.
Chance U. How it was with you playing for Coach Buddy Stevens?
Man, Buddy Steven was man. Ah man, that man was like man. He was one of the crazy coaches too, man. I ever had. He had that little man syndrome because he was so short. He was like he was only like
Yes,
5'4", 5'2". You know what I'm saying? But man, one of the smartest coaches I ever been around though, man. Like offensive mind guy, bro. Like knew the offense inside and out. And man, like he showed me a lot too. Showed me a lot, man. And especially how to control my
I,
emotions. Cause that's something that he could never do, especially during the game, man.
I tell you, Buddy
But
was something else. I used to be a sports information director at Oklahoma Community College. So I knew a bit about East Mississippi and also with Coach Stevens, and we had some nice
you ever been down there?
conversations, man. And yes, I've been down there a couple
Oh
times.
my,
SID at Oklahoma, man. So I've been down to East Mississippi before. I totally get what it is down there, up in it was a Scuba,
scuba,
Mississippi. So I get it.
scuba tech, man. Oh my goodness, there's nothing down there. But it's a little bit more
Right.
down there now,
Yeah.
But man, back when I went to school, all it had was I want to say 2 stores in the front and a dollar store that was like 45 minutes away.
Yeah,
Man,
and I felt y'all pain when I watched the series, man. I can see when the season's over and the y'all getting it, y'all vehicles and y'all out of here. I already
yeah,
know what time it is.
got
Cause
to,
I was
man.
like, bruh. I mean, where I was at, and I was fortunate where Clarksdale was, you had everything you need. It was small town, but they had everything you need comparing to
Right,
Scuba.
man. We ain't had
And
nothing.
yeah, and I was like, wow. But y'all had the facility, the great university and college. But I get it, man. But I remember when y'all played the national championship, you took on Blinn College and Cam Newton. How it was going against probably one of the best NFL quarterbacks we have seen in a minute.
Well, actually, against Cam and JUCO, man. They actually
Okay.
kind of, yeah, like they actually kind of made that not happen. I don't know, but we
Oh
was the number
wow.
3 team that year, and Blinn was number 1, and they ain't let us in there because of something. I don't know, and I forgot who the number 2 team was that year, but man, they weren't better than us. But
Hmm.
but I wish I could have played against Cam that year.
Wow.
Man.
Okay. I did not know that,
Yeah,
man. I
we
know.
thought he played against Cam. That's what people told us.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's what we thought.
Oh, we
Hold
lost
on.
him.
Let's get Randall back in here right quick. Let's get him back in here. There he is. All right. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so I really thought, that's what we thought at the time, you know what I'm saying? But regardless of the fact, man, y'all still had a great season. Y'all went unbeaten and stuff like that. But you had a real good career at East Mississippi. But you went from there and you went to Ole Miss, you know what I'm saying? It was a time for you and everything. How it was with the transition from East Mississippi to the University of Mississippi.
Man, it was way harder because I was a spread quarterback like my whole life, and then when I get to Ole Miss, you know, I got to be a pro style quarterback. So that was what I'm saying, like that was the biggest transition doing that. And maybe if we could have changed over to to a spread offense, what I'm saying, probably would have been a little better in my college career. But you know, but that was the toughest thing though. Everything else, was pretty much easy. What I'm saying, because being in scuba really, that's gonna make the man out you being out there in JUCO. So when I got to Ole Miss, it was just the offense, man.
Wow. I tell you, man, I know there was some times up in there. and the fact that you had to transition between coaches and stuff like that, so I know it was a lot for
Two
you.
coaches, and 3 office coordinators.
Ooh, man.
That's a lot, Randall, bro. That is
Yeah,
a lot, man. Especially playing up in Oxford. Interesting place. A lot of changes comparing to back in the day when other people, even from down here, that went there. They say it's night and day from when it was back then to now. You know
yeah,
what I'm
man,
saying?
yeah,
It's a blessing in itself that they don't have that state flag no more. So that's all I can say about that. For me
yeah,
staying in
man.
Mississippi, it was a miracle when that happened. So, but I'm gonna ask you this one more question. I'm gonna give it over to George. How you been these days? And it seems like you're winning in life more than anything else. That you're continuing to thrive and taking care of things with your own family and all that stuff. How things are going with you, Mr. Mackey?
Oh, can't complain, man. Uh, up here in basketball coaching with these kids and all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to change the kid mind. You know what I'm saying? One mind at a time, bro, and just pass the knowledge on. So, other than that, I can't complain. I love my
That's
kids, love living. You know what I'm saying? And I love football. So,
and what you can say about people like yourself and other players who give back so much because there's so many past players these days. Marcel, George Peppers, and JB, and seeing a lot of great players as really giving back to these kids and going back out there doing camps and even coaching these kids now in high school.
hmm
What you can say about that, especially giving back?
uh, I look at it as, man, you know, we just see ourselves in these kids sometimes. You know what I mean? And a lot of mistakes that we did, you know what I'm saying? We just want to teach that on. So that's how I look at it. Me, I just see myself in a lot of these kids
Love it.
and just want to see them do
Wow,
better.
absolutely. George Peppers, you're up.
I got you. Randall Mackey, first off, I got to echo my call team come through the state of Louisiana. And I'm just being real. I saw you play in the Dome. I've seen you on tapes too. I think you're one of the best, regardless of size. You're one of the best quarterbacks I've seen. And I've covered sports for a long, long time.
Y'all,
Can you Not a
I
problem,
appreciate
brother.
it,
But
man.
listen, let's go back to when you first got to Bastrop. And look, let's talk about culture because Port Sulphur, everybody knows everybody. It's a small, close knit community. Then having to be uprooted and going to Bastrop. How were you embraced, you and the other Port Sulphur guys that went up there? How was the reception by that community? Totally different. It's a totally different entity up that way. But how did they welcome y'all up there to go to that, to live in that community and go to school there?
Yeah, we're open arms, bro. Like, it was all love when we got here. But yeah, man, it was all love. That's why I
I
still
feel
live
that.
here now. So
I feel that. And you mentioned in a couple of earlier questions that you were a
if
little
we need it,
homesick. Did the thought ever cross your mind of coming back close to home at any point during your tenure at Bastrop, or just things were going so good at Bastrop that you just decided let's roll?
what? Nah, I ain't gonna say we're going for good because I was actually trying to come
Right.
back home. After my sophomore year, man. Like I kept asking my mama to come back home, but but she didn't want to let me. And I think my coach, I want to say Crushville. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken or not, I don't know, but I don't know if he got in her ear or not and told her that, you know what I'm saying, that it's just best for me to stay up here. So she was like, nah, you're gonna have your best opportunity out here. So we just stood out here. But I wanted to go back home
Hmm.
bad though.
I feel that.
Because I wanted to play in Port Self as you know what I'm saying, as the older me. Because eighth grade and the freshman me got beat up down there. So it was like I wanted to show people, you know what I'm saying, what I could do as I got older.
You won a lot of games, obviously, three consecutive titles. Um, was there one game that you felt like defined your career? I mean, you could say the championships, but was there one game on your road to those championships that you could say was a turning point for you that really accelerated your success?
2005 when we played Ruston out here in Bastrop. That's where um, it was a play in that game where I scrambled out to the right and I had pointed downfield. Um, and I want to say it was like like a 55-yard pass. I had threw on the money for a touchdown, and after that play right there, that's where the name what they was um Aaron
Mm.
Mackey came about. They started calling me Aaron Mackey after that. So
Mhm.
that's where that name came about after the Rushing game. So that was, you know what I'm saying, that was one of the best. That was one of the best moments up there.
I got you. Um, Championships and whatnot, and obviously each of them has their own definition. Of the three, which one do you feel like held the most meaning for you? I mean, it sounds a little quirky, but like you've won three of them, but which one of them had a little bit more meaning, if there is one?
The second one when we first
Hmm.
went to the dome. Yeah, that one had the most meaning in
Because
it.
of what happened the year before, right?
Uh, yeah, and due to the fact that we had Bastrop and Port in the dome
Hmm.
at the same time, so you know what I'm saying, that's why that was the best one.
Mm. So, let's talk about your recruiting. You know, you went to junior college to start, but during the process, were there any D1 schools that looked at you or non D1s that looked at you to try to get there before, instead of going the JUCO route?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of schools, but I want to say I want to say JUCO was, you know what I'm saying, was the best route to go. JUCO was the best route to go, and because I'm gonna just be honest, I was struggling with my grades. Well, I wasn't struggling. It's just I wasn't putting
Mm.
more effort as I should
Okay.
have been. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna
We'll
just
leave
say that.
that at that. What do you think of the recruiting process now as to what it was back in your day in school? And it seems so old and arcane, but you know, with the NIL and you know and everything else and whatnot,
Easy,
I
it
think the
was
answer would
easy,
be it's like I wish I was being recruited now because of the money that's coming.
man. Who you
But what
telling?
do you think of the
See, I
processes
understand.
now, the recruiting process, the two signing days, as it was now, as it is now, as it was compared to you, where it's just one signing day? What do you think of the whole process and the evolution of it?
Man, at the same time, I love it and hate it because man, look at all the money
Yeah.
that these kids making. So
Mhm.
it's like man, why they didn't do that back when we was in school? So that's all
Exactly.
you can say. But I mean, at the same time, it's a plus and a positive. You know, on the
Hmm.
money side, a lot of people be saying, a lot of these young kids don't need all that money, but at the same time, that's what we doing it for anyway to make it to
Hmm.
that point. So
So,
it's a plus and a minus. I love it, but I just wish I could have had a
Definitely,
piece of it.
definitely.
how often do you keep up with your former teammates now? Even you're still living in Bastrop. How often do you keep up with your former teammates up there?
Uh, a lot, every other day, as much as I can, really,
Gotcha.
from from Bastrop to East Mississippi to Ole Miss. I try to keep in touch. What I'm saying, with as many players as possible. You know, don't want to lose that brotherhood.
No doubt.
You know, yeah, want to always keep that. So,
Surely. Last season, South Plaquemines got back to the Superdome for the first time in a long time and won the title. And I know you. I'm pretty sure you still follow the sport. What did it mean to you
oh
to
yeah,
see that team go back on their throne last year, winning against a perennial power in Haynesville? What did it mean to you to see that group and Lyle Feet winning a state title last year?
man, it was like a dream come true for them, especially Lyle. You know what I'm saying, playing. You know what I'm saying. He played with Crushville too, so
Hmm.
you know what I mean. So he understands the importance of of what it takes to win. You know what I'm saying, and get there. But
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying. But I love it for Port Suffolk, man. So, and I think I want to say they got a
They
good chance
sure
to make
do.
it back this year.
They can. They absolutely
Don't
can.
quote me on that, but I'm just saying though. You know what I'm saying, they might got a good chance to make it back.
They just might. They might find their way back to the Superdome. With that, JB, I turn it back over to you.
All right. Y'all took my questions from me. The rest I had, y'all took them from me. Good job, fellas. Good job. But
Thank you.
Randall Mackey, man, look, it always was a pleasure seeing you on that football field, man. Like I said, you
Oh
defeated my
yeah,
alma mater twice in the dome. But
I appreciate that, man. You know.
Sean, that would be JB. Can I
go ahead,
interject?
George.
I said this before the show. I said this before the show. That's Sean's daddy right there, Randall Mackey.
No.
I wanted to throw
Shout
that
out
in
to the
there.
Shaw Eagles, man.
That's right.
Shout out
Definitely,
to the Shaw
man.
Eagles.
Random, man. It was great interviewing you tonight, man. It was a pleasure. We thank you for joining us, man. Like I said, man, you are in our eyes one of the best to ever do it in the state of Louisiana, man. So thank you for joining us tonight, brother. For
Man,
sure, man.
appreciate
You
it, man.
take
Thank
care,
y'all.
man.
Take
Not a
care.
problem, brother.
The one, the only Randall Mackey, man. That was a great interview, man. Loved everything about it. I had all those questions, man, but I didn't want to be selfish and take them all. So I was like, I'm gonna stop. And then y'all
Oh,
just
listen to
y'all, it's
this.
like y'all just going along with me, man. Bang, bing, 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 bing. I was like, all right, good. But
Bing, bing, bing. Sort of like what Randall Mackey did
hey,
y'all in the
say,
dome,
say, say,
right? Bing,
bud.
bing,
Look, here
bing.
you,
Throwing
man.
them
There you
darts.
go, man. There you go,
Ooh,
man.
wildness.
I
There
can
it
go to
is.
Zachary and what they did to you in the dome.
Mm.
Man, that was one half. That wasn't four quarters. Remember, that was 13th love at halftime, and then they exploded and got 33 points in the
It,
second half. Aaron didn't get
it
any
is what it
points.
is. But back to Randall
Correct.
Mackey, man. Um, yeah, I saw Randall Mackey in the dome twice when Louisiana Tech played them his redshirt junior season, I believe, because Chad was a junior. I was there, and La Tech got the win over them. It was shocking. But look, Randall Mackey, man, to this day, like I said, I just don't think he gets the amount of respect compared to other greats, and he deserves that amount. He like, man, like we said, we'll talk about the Brock Berlin, the Ryan Perlew, and he said Ryan Perlew is the greatest in his eyes. But man, you win 3 state championships in the Class 4A. In Class 4A, all right, the second highest classification, and your team that you on is considered the best team in the state out of all classifications, next to Destrehan 1 year, maybe Curtis another year. I don't know, but dude, Randall Mackey deserves all of his flowers because he was one of the best to ever do it in this state GP.
I don't think there's any question. And there was one question I actually did want to ask him, and it just came to my head now. I wanted to get his thoughts on the split because remember those titles were won pre-split.
Yeah,
So
pre-split. That's correct.
I wanted to get his opinion on what he thinks of the landscape now as it was compared to back then. Yeah, I know I am working a jam. I'm coming with that right cross too. Um, but no, I wanted to ask him about that. Because obviously the landscape of football has changed here with the multitude of state championship games that we have over a 3 day period. Different culture. I say different culture, but different environment. Considering we've got separated schools and everything else, I wanted to see because remember back in those days, you won against top of the line competition.
That's
You
correct.
know, let's call it what it is. I mean, you didn't have you barely the worst blowout I think I've seen in the years that I've covered sports, high school sports, was Bell Chase Parkview Baptist in a dome when Parkview ransacked them. What was it, 63-14 or something like that?
What
Made them
what there was 63 to wait a minute. 63 to 21.
21.
And the funny part, and the thing about the game, and the thing about that game, the game was actually close early.
It was.
And then all of a sudden, I think late in the second quarter, here comes Parkview. Parkview goes on a big run and they don't stop. They didn't
Not at all.
like, oh my God. And that
Mhm.
was the shocking thing about it. Because Bell Chase at one point had a lead in that game and it was
They
really
did.
tight. Then all of a sudden the second quarter came on. I think it's the last 6 minutes. Parkview goes on a scoring run. They scored 3 straight times. And then after that, Bell Chase just could not handle it. And then
No.
and just Parkview just took over. So it was
Wha-
just crazy. And that was the Chris Henry, Shane Shelley team that
Yep.
that took out a meet the week before, and what's his name, who was the quarterback at a meet at the time, in his senior year, Lester Ricard
Yeah.
last year. And I mean, man, for I was hoping Bell Chase would have won the game, but that was the beginning of the Parkview era themselves, what they did was amazing in itself and everything. That was probably the only true blowout. Every other game has been really close games.
Back to George.
Go ahead, Josh.
I wasn't. He wasn't interrupting. I mean, he was just
I didn't say he did. I
interjecting.
didn't say. I
Oh,
didn't say
okay,
he did. But he's
but
about to
that
roll with it. He was getting his
I
roll
feel
on with
that. Oh, I know.
it.
I know. But okay, I don't hear him.
Let's see.
Somebody's muted. It's not me.
I'm not muted. I'm good.
Oh no, I'm good too.
I think it's JB.
It
JB.
is. Yeah, I can see his mouth moving, but nothing's coming out.
Yeah.
Sort of like it'll be this year for football picks, right? But anyway, uh, so but no,
They can
VK.
hear
I
me.
mean, we could recollect and everything
Anybody hear me
else.
now?
And
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, I
yeah, we
got
got you. We got you, brother.
I still can't hear
Thumbs up.
y'all. I can't hear y'all.
Oh,
I can't hear
wow.
you. I can't hear y'all. All right, so what we gonna do? What we gonna do? I can't hear y'all. Don't know what happened. Sound just went out. I'm glad it didn't happen during the interview. All right, this is what we're gonna do. All right, we're gonna go ahead and shut it down because I don't know if the chat can hear me, but I can't hear George and VK. I'm gonna try one thing right quick. Hold on, I'm gonna try one thing. Let me see what happens. Hold on.
While he's doing that, VK, I mean, just we're going on 20. Oh, he dropped. Okay, but we both have been in this a long time. And we've seen a lot of greats, and this month is always special because we get to interview some of the greats. And ladies and gentlemen in the chat,
I hear y'all now.
trust,
We good.
trust what we tell you is we're just getting started. And look, I apologize for missing last week, but yeah, now know why. And I really regret missing the Ed Daniels tribute that you guys did last Wednesday. That was amazing. I went back and watched that back, and I was like, man, sometimes life. How do we say it? Life is life, and
Life is life. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is absolutely the truth. But yeah, we were 58 days away from football. Can't get here fast enough, boys, because we at the Hash It Out Show have a big and better plan this year. 2 games a week, potentially some different matchups that we are working on. We have a few already cemented, but we are going to effort to get the rest of the schedule put out for you guys to peruse and for our advertisers to join in. And to the advertisers out there, we are all available. We want you to join us this year. We have the packages very affordable for not just football, but basketball too. So you guys out there that want to help us out, that want to sponsor us, we have a big thing going here. We have made tremendous strides over these 3 years. This is our third year upcoming with the Hash It Out Show Game of the Week, and it'll be bigger and better than ever. There is no doubt. I have no doubt. VK.
I have a question for Nick. I've seen one in the comments. He said I think Mackey's team would have won against that strand because the coach wasn't that. I hope you're not talking about Steve Robichaux. I know.
Man,
One thing we're
I
not
hope
going
not either.
because that you cannot disrespect Steve Robichaux. I'm sorry. There've been some great Destrehan teams in the past, but they could not win it all. And he took Destrehan to 3 trips to the Dome. We know Tim Rebo took a Destrehan team to the Dome. They couldn't get it done in '93. That was the beginning of
Robichaux
Westmoreland
went
era.
coached college and came back and took over a Destrehan team that was struggling to win games and got them back up and got them back to the Dome.
Actually, Robichaux, he didn't coach in college. He worked actually for the school board.
Oh, okay.
He worked for the school board.
Okay, cool.
And he kind of missed coaching a bit, had a little itch on it, and decided to come back. And then after that, and at the time, Marcus Scott was on his staff for a little bit, and then he left to take the job at Aaron. And when he was about to retire, the first name he said he gave that recommendation to Marcus Scott to take over the Destrehan program.
Yeah.
But I understand. Like I know Robichaux at the time, but Robichaux got Destrehan over that hump and winning back-to-back state titles.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? When the last time Hahnville won state? It's a long time. But they're getting there.
2003.
But they trying to come back.
They got back when that was 17 or 18. They got back with Puka. and lost to
Yeah,
Zachary.
yeah, sure did.
Lost to Zachary.
Lost to Zachary.
Well, Coach Bourne doing a great job at the with his football program in Hornville, doing a great job.
But at the same time, those two coaches really was turning around their programs, Bradshaw and Robichaux. Those
Bradshaw
are two
at
hell of
Bastrop, yeah.
Bastrop, and then Robichaux at Destrehan, and then we can't forget about Acadiana's head coach. That
Ted
was
Davidson.
Ted Davidson.
Yeah.
I mean, those are coaches that really, really got them programs turned around more than anything else. And South Louisiana was really making a huge, huge comeback from all these years and everything else. But North Louisiana, they still was, but that was the takeover for North Louisiana there. Bastrop coming out of nowhere, coming out and winning 3 state. They was running it. So that was a time when North Louisiana made a lot of transitions. And it's kind of going back to some of the old guard that's coming back to North Louisiana. So we seen it last year how the old guard has tremendously have returned. So it makes the state a lot more competitive maybe than ever. So I really like what I'm seeing.
Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back tomorrow night, same time. And some of y'all might know this and some of y'all may not. But in the year 2011, ladies and gentlemen, I think the LSU Tigers competed for a national title in that season and lost to Alabama, in the Superdome for the national championship. But what you may not remember, or some of you may know, that there was another Louisiana team that made a lot of noise that year, who went on to win the Western Athletic Conference Championship, and that was the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. We will have some of those players from that team on the show tomorrow to recap, relive, and tell us memories about that season in 2011. Just remember this, y'all. They kind of started off 0-4. Just keep that in mind. All right.
And they ran off a bunch of wins. Was Tim Rattay the quarterback that year?
No,
definitely not Tim Rattay.
This was a whole almost 20 years after Tim Rattay was quarterback.
See, I forget my errors.
We're talking 2004. Rattay was what, 97 or 99? 90.
You said 2004. Where you coming from? 2011.
2011 was that championship. Tim Rattay was in the 90s. That had to be late 90s, 99, I believe.
98, 99, yeah.
Yes. So you're way.
Now, I do want to throw this out there. When you were talking about great quarterbacks, you mentioned Zachary, and Lindsey Scott is a guy that you might want to put in there too. That guy was spectacular in high school. Very good player in high school.
He was.
Granted, he ran into some unnecessary turbulence along the collegiate career. Some things were done that we don't want to speak of, but let's just say not in his favor. But he was a monster quarterback, and I say that as one who had the tire tracks from that state title in 2015 when John Aaron got pistol whipped by Zachary that year, and that was a butt whipping that I never want to. I can't live down even today, 10 years later.
Yeah,
it'll be 10 years this year.
Lindsey Scott is to me, one of the longest reigning college quarterbacks maybe we have ever seen. Went to 4 different schools.
Went to a lot,
started 3 other 4 schools. It's unbelievable. I know we'll have him on sooner or later, but Lindsey Scott he was a great athlete, but he's an interesting story. I think one of the guys on the 2011 Tech team we might have on the show tomorrow is actually somebody that's close to you, sir.
I don't think so.
He wasn't on that team?
He was on that team, but I don't think he'll be on the show tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe he will. We'll see.
Tease.
I didn't say anything.
He's playing at VK. That's a tease, brother.
I know what he's doing.
Stay tuned, big boy. Stay tuned.
What he's doing. I know what he's doing.
We'll see.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that.
Keep it.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that. I was just throwing something out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I know we talked about why you wanted to do that, and I completely understand. Hey, yeah, why not do something like that? No,
let
I'm
me
saying Louisiana Tech.
let me talk to Ty right quick. When y'all coming to North Shore? We came to North Shore not last season, the season before that. We came to North Shore and did
in
that
the
playoff
playoffs.
game. Um, I
That
don't
was
know if
me and
North
BK.
I don't know if North
Yes.
Shore under NFHS VK.
No,
I
we
don't.
did their game 2 years ago.
Yeah, we
I
did the
don't.
audio, but I'm saying for
Who did
video.
audio? I don't know if they are. That's a question for their coach. So that'd be a coach if he's still there.
Yeah, yeah,
Coach
yeah,
Bobby If
yeah.
he's Coach Bobby Johnson still there, that's Bobby Johnson question.
Bobby
We
Johnson or
will
Bobby Sanders?
Bobby Sanders. Thank you, Bobby
Sanders.
Sanders. Bobby Sanders. We
Definitely.
would love to come back because North Shore they was very very good to us. Good
Hmm.
facilities over there and everything, and the people was so nice. They made sure we parked safely and
Yep.
everything. So, bruh, we would love to
They,
come back.
they had us set up good.
There you
Yes.
They
go.
got us. They had us. They had us straight, and we were, the red carpet. Pretty much, it was a red carpet thing for us coming up there doing that game. And now forget who they played that year. VK. They lost um 2 years ago. I can't remember who beat them.
Uh, Walker.
It was
Oh yeah,
Walker.
that's right. Walker
It was
High,
Walker.
Chad Mahaffey.
Yep.
Mhm.
Hmm.
That
That,
was an interesting game, and they pulled away in the fourth quarter.
Yes, they
So,
did.
yeah.
Ty, we got to talk to Coach Sanders and see what's up, and then we'll try. So I can't promise it, but we will try. And then if we can't get it this year, and they're not with NFHS, then we'll definitely go for next year. Definitely
For
do
the
that.
That's right.
playoffs.
Or the playoffs. That's correct. You're right, VK. Or the playoffs. That's right. Austin Tyler, JB. I read an article. I saw you get some love. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Um, my boy Mike Coppers needed some info about a certain team, which was Ruston, and I just told him some things, and he put an article. So that's all that is with that. Um,
Mhm.
we gave last words, ready, fellas?
Whew, man, good very good show tonight. You know what I'm saying? You know, we thank everybody who from last week to this week they came back.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
came back for this one, and the
yes,
comments and to all the people who commented tonight, interacted with us. We thank y'all so much, especially the people from out of North Louisiana and from Plaquemines Parish. We thank y'all so much. We give y'all a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? And Mr. Silv, hey, we know y'all region is one of the best in the state, man. Look, we just sometimes you can't we get you got to acknowledge what the area you're from. You know what I'm saying? To just know when people listen from the show from North Louisiana, all these other places, what area is it? They're from this area. It ain't New Orleans. They're from this area. Or
yeah,
they're from this area. So that's how we do it. That's how we cover it on the Hash It Out Show. Like, tag, share, subscribe. We got the game of the week coming up on the gridiron and on the court. Bruh, we ready to get going here, man. And sponsors support us in any way you need to. We have 5 packages. Come on and hey, just support us. Support us. We just need your support.
So
Jordan
That's
so
all.
said the
not that
337 was here too. Yeah,
Yes, the 337.
mm,
they
Big
were.
time. Represent. So big shout out to Under the Lights. Big shout out to everybody. But hey, we cannot wait. Football season is almost here.
yep. Go ahead,
At, at the
George.
risk
What's
of
your
well,
last words?
before I have my last words, thank y'all for your sympathy and your love. I appreciate that very much. But I also now for my last words, I think the theme for the three of us this year with football season and basketball season forthcoming, and at the risk of trademark or copyright infringement, we are all gas, no brakes, right? The Jacob Fatu line. That's what we'll be because we're gonna be we pedal to the metal. We're gonna be rolling this year. Multiple football games, basketball games, of course. Who knows? Maybe some other stuff too. But we're gonna be very busy, and whatnot. And I'm so much looking forward to it. And it'll be 57 days tomorrow, so the countdown is on in a very big way. But looking forward to that and looking forward to tomorrow night revisiting with the members of the Louisiana Tech football team that you will have on the show. And I like how you played that, JB. I loved how you played that because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, don't give it away. Don't give it away. Tease it. I like that. Keeping them on edge. Keeping us on edge. But that's good. We'll reveal all tomorrow night when it comes to the interview. And this is, where July 9th tomorrow. We still got a lot more legends to interview. We still do.
We
And
still do.
this is the best month of the calendar year for the Hash It Out show. And I say why? Because come August, it's previews. And previews lead to what? Games. So we're segueing perfectly. We honor the past, we look to the future, and then we bring you the future week by week. And that is to me the segue that I love the most. And on that, JB, close us out, brother.
All
Could
right.
could be the biggest interview show we might have tomorrow night, depending, because I think knowing how this technology kind of works, especially what we're working with, we'll have a lot of windows open tomorrow, man. That'll be the first time we'll have multiple windows open tomorrow night. I would
Actually,
like to see that. That's gonna be kind of fun to see.
actually, we had that before with your boys from the forgot, man, during basketball season.
We did.
So yeah, we did that with the girls when we were talking about the girls. I forgot the name. God dog it.
We had
Boy,
only opinions podcast.
only
All
opinions.
opinions.
All three of those dudes were on with us 2 weeks in a row. So we've done it before. We'll do it again. We got this tomorrow night,
Do it
y'all.
again tomorrow night. Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
So, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Everybody that's here for the first time, hit that subscribe button. We're bringing the Hash It Out show Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then when football start, we're back to the Hash It Out show game of the weeks. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It'll be 2 games every week, but which days is on, we'll see. We'll
Stay
see. But
tuned.
one of those days, we're gonna give y'all the schedule when it happens. But thank y'all so much. Big thank you to one of the greatest to ever do it, the one and only Randall Mackey. Thank you so much. And I love that he's giving back to the community, coaching kids football. I love it so much. But thank you for Randall Mackey for joining us tonight. And with that being said, that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen, for VK Jones, for George Peppers. I am JB the Sports Guy. We'll see you here tomorrow with the 2011 Western Athletic Conference football champions, the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. Some of those football players will be joining us tomorrow on this show. Make sure you come right back and hear their stories. Because if I can get, there's one guy that I'm still trying to get. He got a story and a story with that one. But other than that, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all take care.
Green Law Firm is a full-service law firm specializing in personal injury, criminal law, successions, and family law. With over 25 years of experience, the Green Law Firm continues to provide efficient, competitive, and effective representation to clients throughout the state of Louisiana and all across the nation. Consultations are free. If you're looking for results, call the Green Law Firm at 504-328-3990. That's 504-328-3990, located at 931 Westwood Drive, Suite B in Marrero, Louisiana. The Green Law Firm.
At Bayou AV Security, we are your one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's enhancing your home entertainment system, securing your property, ensuring a seamless internet connection, or illuminating your outdoor spaces. We've got you covered. Bayou AV Security, where technology meets reliability. Call us today to experience the Bayou difference.
JFK Martial Arts offers a wide variety of martial arts programs for kids, teens, and adults as they empower lives through martial arts. Please give them a call at 985-266-0664 and don't forget to ask about their 1-week free special. Feeling drained from the constant noise in your daily life? Immerse yourself in pure audio bliss with drums. Experience a world of crystal clear sound, free from distractions. Discover the ultimate relaxation and escape into an oasis of serenity. Grab yours today. drumsworld.com.
If you're looking for the best pizza in Metro New Orleans, then you're in the right place. Moe's Pizza has a great selection of Italian food that can satisfy your appetite, and they can also cater to your needs in any event. Give them a call at 504-341-9650 or log on to www.moespizzanola.com, located at 1112 Avenue H in West Wego, Louisiana. Moe's Pizza, Italians do it better.
All right, folks, as we kick off tonight's football game, let's take a moment to talk about something just as important as a winning playbook, your financial future. Kaylin Parker, a financial advisor with Magnolia Wealth Strategies, is here to help you stay financially fit off the field. From retirement and estate planning to investment management and even insurance needs, Kaylin Parker is here to help you. Reach out to Kaylin at 504-613-2161 or at cparker@financialguide.com. Thank you for watching the Hash It Out Show. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.